Hi, I'm working on a new painting in the studio from these flowers that I picked in the garden. I've set the still life up and I thought it'd be fun to just give you a little idea of what I do when I start the painting. And this is the beginning of the painting. It's quite big, it's 100 by 80 centimetres. And as you can see, I've got a lot of colour on, I've got a lot of texture. I'm using a large brush, building up those colours, building up those layers right from the start. I'm also looking at the composition, so I'm trying to get an idea of where everything's going to be within the painting. And I like to have a lot of fun with this stage and get lots of colour down. You might think the colours are a bit strange, they're not the sort of true colour of the setup there, but it's nice to get some interesting, perhaps contrasting colour or a warm colour, for instance, like that orange underneath where there's going to be a lighter colour, some darks in very early on, and some of these colours will show through when I've worked over with the oils later on. And I'm going to go in a bit closer so that you can see some texture, that I'm building up all that lovely texture, which is going to give me just a lovely interesting surface over which to work with the oils. I use a palette knife for the oils, so you know, I really sort of do use a lot of paint. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little look at the new painting that I'm working on in the studio today, and I'll show you when it's finished. I've finished the painting today and I had to work super fast on this one because the flowers, which are still here, I was a bit concerned that they were all going to get a bit droopy in the hot weather, and they have a bit, but normally when I'm working on these still life paintings, I do work fast for that reason, you know, because the flowers are very temporary, and also because it's part of the technique really. I want to keep it very fresh, keep it as lively as possible. You can see that I'm going to go in a bit closer and you can see areas like the fruit here. I try and keep it as simple as possible. I try not to overwork these sort of areas. So certain parts of the painting are actually quite, you might say, sort of unfinished even. I like that effect where everything looks as though it's just been painted and it's not laboured, and I think that works particularly well with this sort of subject. You can see the texture of this oil paint. It's very thick in places, but then in other places, for instance here, it's just sort of the oil paint is just scraped over the acrylic, and some of that acrylic is still showing through. I use a palette knife for all the oil paint, and really looking to build up the textures, building up those layers. I love the effect of having those sort of colours coming through from the underpainting. There's a nice sort of area of a very fresh limey green there. That's acrylic underneath there. So you've got sort of hints of the underpainting coming through, and it all goes together to create the effect that I want. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed looking at the work today.